Right here at the RV show is where people make huge financial decisions in about 20 minutes. They're decisions that they'll still be paying for 10 years from now. And the problem isn't that people buy an RV. The problem is they buy the wrong RV because nobody shows them what actually matters until it's too late. So today, we're not doing opinions, we're doing proof. We're walking you through the 7 biggest RV buying mistakes, the ones that cost people the most money, the most stress, and the most regret. We're doing it inside real rigs and showing you the exact mistakes buyers make before they sign. If you're RV shopping, this video can save you thousands. And if you already own an RV, you're going to recognize these instantly and hopefully avoid your next expensive mistake. But first, if we haven't met before, we're the Shinpaughs. We're a family of 4 who travels full-time so we can make memories now. This is not anti-dealer. This is pro-buyer. You can find the perfect rig on just about any lot with any manufacturer. We're simply going to point out things that we see today with hopes of helping you think through a major purchase. We want you confident, informed, and safe out on the road. And make sure you stick around to the end because we're going to create a cheat sheet with all of the things we share with you, and we'll tell you how to get a hold of it. Wow, babe, these are all so pretty.
It's amazing how far the motorhome industry has come in their paint schemes. You know, they used to all just be tan and maroon and white. Now you look at these beautiful colors and all the manufacturers are doing it.
Well, and the insides too, they are beautiful. But at some point that wow factor wears off and then you're stuck with the reality of, I just bought a motorhome or a fifth wheel or whatever type of RV it is because it was gorgeous and it doesn't really fit our lifestyle at all.
And that's our goal with this video, is to help you make better decisions for the type of RV that would fit you and your family's needs the best.
It's so important to think about, what are you going to use the rig for, right? How often will you travel? Where will you go? What will the weather be like? All of those things. But don't just buy it because it's pretty.
Because they're all pretty nowadays. So the other question you have to ask is, where are you going to camp? Are you going to be going to state parks, national parks? We'd be boondocking. We'd be going to RV resorts only. We'd be going to regular campgrounds. All of those things matter when it comes to the size. And one of the things that we've learned is bigger isn't necessarily better.
Right.
But in our case, we had to have bigger for obvious reasons. But for you, I always say this: pick the rig that you like plus 2 feet. And that 2 feet goes a long way. So if you're on the fence about what size to get, just get the one that's 2 feet bigger if they offer it.
And the last thing to think about here is how many people are going to be traveling most of the time. We see so many people buy a motorhome that is much bigger than what they need just so they have bunk beds in case the grandkids would come visit. In fact, just last week, we had some people over for dinner and he said, we spent so much more money for something that happens 2% of the time. And quite honestly, your grandkids would be happy sleeping on the couch or even an air mattress probably, because they're coming camping with you. So think about that. How many of you are traveling? What are you doing on a regular basis? And make sure that that motorhome that you buy truly fits your lifestyle. The next mistake that you need to avoid is buying the wrong floor plan. And specifically, let's talk about living space versus sleeping space. This is a beautiful motorhome. I really like it. And it's built to sleep a lot of people. There's a master in the back, there's a drop down bed here in the front, and I can also see a pull out underneath the couch. And there's a bunkhouse in the back. So there's a lot of places for people to sleep. So think about that. If you have at least 4, right? 2 adults, 2 kids in the bunks, maybe you've got a 3rd child, so that's up to 5. And who knows, right? Maybe you take some of their friends with you for the weekend, so you got a couple more on the couch. It's important for you to do what we call the sit test, which is sit your butt down in the rig and just be still for at least 10 minutes, if not longer. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about, how are you going to use the space? Right? If I'm sitting in this chair for 10 minutes and I look around, what do I notice? What works? What doesn't? And arguably, you should sit in multiple places for at least 10 minutes at a pop and do the same thing. And just let the shininess wear off and look at it from a real practical standpoint. What do you think, babe?
It's impossible to not like these new coaches.
Yeah.
They're all just really, really pretty. But the one thing, as you sit here, the very first thing that pops up is, where's the TV? Now, they do have a small TV up there, but given today's day and time, we're probably not watching that TV. So look where the TV is in this particular coach.
Right. It's opposite of 2 recliners. And what is on the side of the TV?
Mm-hmm.
A couch that seats 3 and the whole booth for the dinette. So if that TV had been behind us, you could have so many more people viewing the big TV. Right. Versus here, it's truly just catering to mom and dad or the couple who's buying the motorhome.
I wonder if they were thinking of this for like grandkids. You know, I often wonder when they build these motorhomes, I don't necessarily know that they think about families using them as much as they do grandparents and the grandkids coming over, which is fine. And you know, it may not bother a person at all, but these are the little things after doing this for so long that we notice just like that.
Right. And even if you don't have grandkids, if you like to entertain like us, I mean, there's all different camps of people, right? There's some people who are super private. They don't want anybody in their motorhome. Then there's people like us, and it's like the more the merrier. And if it's raining, come on in. We'll have dinner inside. So we're always looking to maximize the space, not only for our family, but for our friends that we like to have. So yeah, you're right. It is interesting. It'd be nice to know what set of glasses they're looking through when they design these.
You know, something else I noticed is look at the dining room table. It's got this beautiful U-shaped sitting area, but you would be hard pressed to put more than 4 plates.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna walk over here for a second, because if you walk in this motorhome and you look here, you think, wow, look at all that seating space. But if you sit down, Jason, come sit with me. Or Sarah, yeah, Sarah, come sit. If you sit here, you're fitting. Who's gonna sit in the middle?
I'm sure the table probably comes
Don't
up.
step on my...
It doesn't. It's literally screwed to the bottom.
It probably, it moves. There's a little lever under here.
No, but look at Sarah's feet right now.
Yeah, right. The table moves out, but where are her feet gonna go? And if Jason sits down, where are his feet gonna go? And I see this over and over again, not only in motorhomes, in fifth wheels, in tow behinds. This space, this dinette has caused us to not buy more motorhomes than you would imagine.
And this is the perfect example of not really thinking through this, because this solves in the motorhome space sleeping big time. I don't know that you're going to find another motorhome that sleeps as many people as this coach does. And we personally know multiple people that has this floor plan, and they have multiple kids and they love it. When you think about use, yeah, there's not even enough space for Jason to sit, so we'd have to pull another chair up.
And that's if all the plates would even fit. This is really a tabletop for 2.
I'm very cramped back here, especially my legs. So let's move on to the next thing.
Okay, let's do it.
And when you do your sit test, don't just sit in the front living space. Come to the back. Because for example, in this rig, this is a bedroom. I'm just gonna sit and pay attention. There's a half bath tucked up there. The door shuts. You know, that's great if you want to go to bed and not be bothered. But that bunkhouse that we were talking about, if you sit back here and pay attention and think about how you're going to use this space, you have to come through the master bathroom in order to get to the bunks. So this is where that sit test becomes really important. How often are you going to use these bunks? Who's coming through? When will they be coming through? So just think about it.
One of the things that manufacturers will sometimes do is they will only put 2 air conditioners instead of 3 on some of these units, and most people will never pay attention to it. Now, I don't know exactly what the specs are for when they need them or not, but we're standing next to a 35-foot unit. It has 2 air conditioners. And I don't believe that they do a good enough job accounting for how much heat comes in the front window of these coaches. So when you're doing this, think about how are you going to use this coach. If you're always going to stay in cool weather and you're always going to be chasing 70 degrees, it's probably not a big deal. But if you're going to be in Florida in the summer, only having 2 air conditioners on a rig this size will severely impact how cool it'll stay. So just things to think about. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. Once again, this has nothing to do with the manufacturer. We see it in lots of manufacturers, but just pay attention to that and think about how you're going to use it.
In contrast to air conditioning, you need to be thinking about heat if you're going to camp in cold weather. We have wintered in Breckenridge, Colorado 3 times, once in a cabin, but twice in different RVs. And so what I can tell you is that we know something about camping in 0 degrees.
That's right.
And you do have to take some things into consideration.
Well, one of the things that I believe is a must for any coach is heated floors. Even if it's not going to be freezing, heated floors are really nice. And this is a place where they won't mention that they don't have them, but it makes a big difference. Now you'll notice this one has a fireplace, which actually would put out some nice heat if you were sitting here watching TV and you had the fireplace going. The other thing, a lot of these units have rooftop airs and they have heat pumps or heat strips inside of them. Those only work down to about 40 degrees or so. So if it's colder than 40 degrees, your rooftop airs and heats are not going to warm your rig. A lot of these newer motorhomes are going to have a Webasto or AquaHot. I think they have some other ones that are coming out. We don't have one, so I don't pay that much attention to it, but those will heat the floors. And I believe understanding how your coach works, these big windows, as much as it affects the sun, the cold comes in that front area as well. So if you're not going to be chasing 70-degree weather and you're going to be spending some time where it's really cold, just pay attention to some of these things. You'll be really happy you did. And they're small details that will only matter when they matter. And if they matter, they'll matter.
A lot. Whether you're working full-time like us or you're retired, nobody wants to waste thousands of dollars. So I really hope that you're enjoying this video so far. And speaking of working full-time, that's right, Jason and I still work full-time. That's how we pull this lifestyle off. I'm a loan officer and he's a real estate agent, and our companies are licensed in almost every state. So if we can ever help you buy or sell a home, finance or refinance it, we would love to. There's a link in the description. Click it, get some time on our calendar, and we'd love to help you in that way. And also, if you're a real estate or mortgage professional like us, and you are thinking, how in the world are they doing that job from the road? We'll tell you. Get some time on our calendar. We'd love to help you get that kind of freedom, just like we have. Okay, the next topic is very sexy. It's your tanks and capacity. We're talking black water, gray water, and fresh water. But in all seriousness, this motorhome has this poster board outside and it makes it really easy to show you what we mean. This particular motorhome has a freshwater capacity of 100 gallons, gray water capacity of 62 gallons, and black water capacity of 41 gallons. What I can tell you is that if you full-time like us versus weekend warrior it, this is going to matter to you. But Jason, tell them why it matters or how it matters.
Well, this has enough capacity for the water that's in there, which is fine if you're just going somewhere for a weekend or whatever. But if you want to go somewhere for an extended period of time, having only 100 gallons of fresh water would really limit what you could do. But you could add water, but you don't have the storage for it. So this will all be encompassed in what you can do inside of here. We will actually bring water in. A lot of times when we're boondocking, we have the capacity to bring more water in because we have more storage for our black tank and gray tank.
What Jason means by that is, here it says you're going to have 100 gallons of fresh water. And if you are boondocking and didn't have utilities, as you use that water up, 60% of it can go in the gray tank and about 40% can go into the black tank. So that's what you meant by that.
Now listen, this isn't going to apply to everybody. This is something that mainly if you're boondocking and you're out doing that kind of stuff and you really can't change it, it's just having the awareness of what it is so you can manage it. That's all.
Hey, real quick, go down and hit the subscribe button for us. And while you're there, in the comments, tell us what your biggest aha has been so far. Let's talk about some features that you may not use the way you think. And the perfect example of that is an outdoor kitchen. So we hopped over to just a regular RV, not a motorhome, to show this because it's a really easy point to make. It's awesome. The sink here, you think, oh, wash my hands and clean up after grilling. The outdoor fridge, I do like that. But when it comes to a griddle, a grill, or anything like that, that literally comes out of the RV itself and stays so close to it, I'm not a fan. How about you?
Yeah, it's hard enough to get these things clean to begin with, let alone sliding it back. And you're gonna have crumbs and grease, and all of that stuff matters, especially when you're not using your rig all the time. We just actually had some friends who were not near their rig, and they got palm rats, and they got in and started chewing up some of their coach. And like, I'm just so
it's a mess.
Remember after we had mice? Like, I'm so aware of things like this.
We had mice for like 2 days, and it was maybe 3. It was terrible. Yeah, Jason, I mean, like, guys, a grill that you can move and put over on a picnic table or a table that you bring, that is a great outdoor kitchen. Something like this where the grease is gonna seep down in, this doesn't move. And I mean, it is so close to the rig itself. The heat, the grease is gonna splatter up. Like, there is no way. These things look amazing. And on a motorhome, you can have this slide that comes out and it's like, oh, right? Really think twice about it. Think about what you really will use and where you should really use it.
And then if you do decide one works for you, awesome. But make sure you have a plan to clean it and clean it thoroughly.
Right, because you're paying for the convenience of this being installed and all of the wiring and everything that goes with it to be run. So you're paying a lot of money for something that may not really be such a great idea.
And I totally agree. Sometimes you're paying for a feature that you may not use like you think you will.
If you like my rally t-shirt from the fall, you should come and join us for our next rally. It's April 15th through the 19th in Fredericksburg, Texas, and it is at Arch Ray RV Resort. And here's what you're gonna get. 4 nights of full hookup camping, 3 nights of catered dinners. We'll have some live music, 2 mornings of coffee chats, and an unforgettable time meeting new friends and just enjoying everything this Texas wine country has to offer. We'd love to see you. We'd love to meet you. We hope you'll join us. There's a link in the description, or scan the QR code wherever Willis puts it. We hope to see you there.
So we're here with our fancy chopsticks sitting in one of the Tiffins. And so let's talk a little bit about the ownership costs that people underestimate. Now, I sat down and I talked with ChatGPT about what was the most commonly bought Class A motorhome, and it was a 40-foot Tiffin motorhome. That's exactly what we're sitting in right now. So let's go over some of the main ownership costs. So number 1, insurance. ChatGPT said in between $1,200 and $3,500 per year, but if you add the full-timer style coverage, it's a higher liability, and that can be in between $2,500 to $5,000 per year. Then you have maintenance on your rig. Things are gonna go wrong. That's just how it works. Routine service, $1,200 to $3,500 a year. Repairs, just in case, $1,000 to $3,000. Tire reserve, $1,000 to $1,500 for 8 tires. So maintenance can be anywhere between $3,000 and $7,000 a month.
A year.
A year. Now let's talk storage. Now I asked him to give me these numbers based on someone who travels for 6 months out of the year and the other 6 months they live in their house. So for storage, I'm just gonna make it really simple. Outdoor, $450 to $1,000, covered $600 to $1,500, and indoor, $1,000 to $1,500. And the last thing, campground cost. If you were to stay 180 nights at a campground that was $90 a night, you were going to be spending over $16,000 just to stay at a campground. So let's summarize that all up. You're gonna spend anywhere between $21,000 and $29,000 extra just in common ownership fees.
You forgot one. You forgot fuel.
Oh yeah, gotta get to and from.
You're right. So on top of the things that you mentioned, which were excellent, right? Insurance, maintenance, storage, campground fees, fuel is the only other thing I had written down. When we fill up, it's easily $500 a pop. You know, how often you fill up will depend on where you're going and how long you're staying. But you definitely need to understand what the fuel efficiency is of the rig you buy, how many miles you're going to drive, and what that's going to cost.
It's just another great thing to take into account when you're buying this. You may spend 400 grand and be like, that's our max, that's the rig we can get. But what about that $30,000 per year that costs just to run it?
Right. Don't buy these just because you can afford the payment.
There's a lot more to it.
Another mistake is falling for the show discount, special pricing only, right? So what do you have to say about that?
Well, they're notorious for marking the prices up or giving you the MSRP and then putting a big red line through it and saying this is show pricing. They have professional salespeople that they ship in just for these shows. They're called show dogs. And their job is to sell RVs and to make the RV dealers a lot of money. So be very, very careful about what it is that you're buying, and you really need to know the numbers, and you really need to know the numbers of your rig. There's actually a great Facebook page that I follow called RV Appraisals, but the guy that runs it does a great job, and he came from the RV industry. He kind of has an idea of how do you debunk the RV industry.
And the value.
Yeah, and
right.
the values.
And I always like to say, when is the best time to buy an RV? When you need it, when it's right for you, when you're not being pressured and feeling stressed about it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that we have bought a handful of RVs in our life and never at a show, and you've always gotten us a great deal. So don't fall for that. I'm sure there's good deals to be had, but it is not the only time you're going to get that deal.
Well, and it's a great place to come and find the floor plan you like, and then go look for a used one that's 1 or 2 years old that's lightly used. You know, that's a great way to get a good deal on an RV.
Oh, yeah.
We just missed out on one we were considering buying. It was down 50%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So it's there.
And then extended warranties, along with buying an RV, is do you buy the extended warranty or not? And here's what I'll tell you. Don't buy an extended warranty out of fear, right? That you're afraid something's gonna break, you're afraid you won't be able to afford it, and you gotta have it. Make sure you understand the math. How much does it cost? How long will it cover you? And what does it really cover? What's your deductible? When does it work and when won't it work? So we actually have bought extended warranties before, and we've passed on more than we've purchased in our lifetime, but we had a great one and it worked in our favor.
Yeah, when we had our fifth wheel, it paid for itself like that. So you're gonna spend a good amount for one on a Class A because it's covering the powertrain, the generator, the motors and things like that. But if they will truly pay and make sure that it has mobile technicians included, that's a big clause that a lot of them don't have in there. I think that they're a great opportunity if you get the right one for the right price. And there's a bunch of companies out there, just do your homework. But I would have bought one on our rig if we could have got one.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Those are the Shinpaughs' top tips on things to avoid so you don't make costly mistakes when you buy your next RV. We've put all of this in a summary sheet that you could take with you when you're out hunting. So click the link in the description and we'll get that right over to your inbox. Make sure to subscribe, go grab someone you love, make a memory now, and we'll see you on the next adventure.